Hey guys, welcome back. In this video we are going to be doing the bottom end here on this YZ426. So we got these cases already in the last video and did the transmission, polished some of that stuff up, and so that stuff is ready to go back in. We just gotta take off this piston from the crank here, so I'll do that real quick, then we can clean up the crank a little bit and get it ready to throw in too. So that is what we're gonna start off today with. So these OEM pistons are super easy to take off. They've just got some circlips here. It's easier than the aftermarket ones because the aftermarket ones have those clips that are impossible to install. I gotta flip around my tool here. So now it should compress it just like that. Super easy to remove. That's why we're gonna use the OEM piston again, and it lasts for a really long time. This is still the stock piston that came from the factory, never replaced in possibly thousands of hours. I slide that wrist pin out. All right, there is the wrist pin. Doesn't look too bad. You can tell it's a little bit worn in just right there on that one spot. But let's look at the rod now. Looks pretty good. It's a little bit worn in right there, but it should still be fine. We can take this wrist pin the rest of the way off and put it back in here to check if there's any play, but I didn't feel any, so I think we're good. And there's no up or down play in the rod, just a tiny little bit of side to side. So I think everything's good here, ready to be reinstalled. All right guys, I got this case ready. Put assembly lube in all the bearings and where the shift forks are gonna go, and we're gonna install from the flywheel case. That's how the manual tells you to do it, so I'm gonna see if that's any easier for getting the transmission stuff in. Looks like it'll be a little bit easier, but I guess we'll find out. So what I'm gonna do first is install the crank. So I'm gonna heat up this bearing race here, make it just a little bit bigger, and sometimes they'll drop in. I don't usually do it from this side though. Usually the clutch side drops in real well, but I got a torch here. So I'm gonna heat up the socket and then transfer the heat to the race so I don't cook out any of the stuff, any of the grease and assembly lube in the bearing. It's a little safer to do on the 4-stroke because the 2-stroke has a seal on the other side, so you don't wanna heat up the bearing with flame. So I'll just do it the same way I normally do it. Should be getting nice and warm now. Now what you do is you just put it into the bearing here. This socket's like the perfect size. It's a 7/8, 3/8 drive, and just leave it in the bearing and let the bearing start warming up. In theory, you want to let the bearing race expand, and then the differential heating should allow the crank to slide in a little bit easier. And I got this crank all cleaned up and ready to go back in. Let's see if this guy will go in. And there it is. That's cool. So I don't have to pull it. I had my Tusk crank puller ready if I needed it, but not this time. At least for this side. Might need it for the other side. And it's all about speed. From this, when you have just the crank, you can kind of wiggle it more than when you're trying to put a whole case onto it. And that's why you usually need the puller once you get everything together. But now all we got to do is get the transmission and shifting back in, and then install the oil strainer for the other case, and then we can slide them back together. All right, so we got these shift forks on right now. So we've got the left one, which kind of goes down like this, as you can see. The right one, that is also on the counter shaft, which is kind of up like this. And then the center one, which is on the clutch shaft, over like this. And we'll put the shift drum on these. It's hard to show on camera, and I'm gonna put the case back up on this. So I'm gonna have the camera up. We'll get this assembled and then we'll drop it in. Make it all align somehow without it just falling apart. It's almost there. Oh, that's there. Is that all the way through? All right, guys, as you can see, we got it in. Took a little bit of fussing around with it. It's just a really bad design, pretty much. All Yamaha would have done to make this a lot easier is just not put roll pins in all these shift forks. Then you could have swung them all out of the way. Even if you put them onto the shaft, put the shafts in, then you can put the shift drum in by itself, swing them all in, then put the pins in. That's the way the Hondas are, but anyway, we got them in. I'll test it right now, make sure it seems to shift fine, and then put the oil strainer in and put them back together. All right, guys, to get this case half ready, we got to put the oil strainer on. I already got all the bearings lubed up, and we got it cleaned out. Put a little bit of Loctite on these bolts, just a little. And there's no O-ring or anything, and it goes in just like that. So that's pretty much the oil level of the engine when it's running. There's that little bit where the strainer doesn't picks up the rest and sends it up to the frame. And those are tight. Now all we gotta do is put some silicone on this case half. We're gonna put it on this one because it's stationary, and then we can drop these two together. I'll heat up this bearing again, so hopefully they just drop on real easy. All right, guys, we got the silicone RTV on this case half, and we ended up taking the crank out and putting it in this other side since we don't have a puller for this in case it didn't go in. So we got the gear on and the nut, so it should hold itself. So let's try getting this thing in. Yeah, I guess so. There it goes. And now it's just the crank, which isn't gonna go. Alright, guys, the cases are back together now. We're a little bit unprepared for that, but we got it done anyway, and it ended up working out. So now I'm just going to torque down most of these bolts. Some of them we're going to do some extra things, like there's something that goes on this. But for now, just to let the glue dry, we're going to get them torqued down. So their final torque is 8.7. This is only by 1, so we're going to go to 9. And I'm going to start off at 5 for all of them first, just to do smaller steps. That's all of them to 5. I'm going to go up to 9. Now I'm going to check them all again, just to be extra thorough. Alright, that's all of them. Now we just gotta clean up some of this extra glue and then do some more reassembly. Alright, guys, we got all that silicone cleaned up here, and we got the gears off of this side again. So it's spinning smooth. I can crank it pretty smoothly. Some of that weird stuff, weird grease stuff in the bearings, but that'll go away once oil works on it. And we got a bunch of stuff cleaned up down here and ready to be installed. So I did a little tiny bit of polishing on the shift shaft, nothing much, just a little bit like around that seal area. Got some of the aluminum out of the splines, just a little bit, and I did more polishing on this clutch shaft. You can see it's pretty shiny, and that's mainly for just to make it smoother because this bike has a crazy clutch pull. So that hopefully is gonna make it a little smoother. Probably nothing much, but anything you can get at this point. So I'm gonna install that first. We got the bolt and the keeper ready. I don't think I'll torque it, I'll just put a little bit of Loctite on. Some of the outside stuff, you kind of get to know the torque after a while as well, so. It always looks super cool putting this red stuff on these polished shafts. Should make it spin super smooth in that bearing and on the throwout. So I stick it here. I'm just gonna slide it and grab this keeper here. I'll have to figure out how this goes. It's probably just like that. Now we got this bolt, and I probably put away my Loctite. If you put Loctite on it, it doesn't really matter how much you torque it or don't torque it. It's one of the outside ones too. Usually these don't come off. That looks right to me. Spins super smooth, and the spring action works. That looks like about where it would go. I've got the counterbalancer here. I'm gonna put some lube on the splines where the bearing's gonna go, just on the shaft spinning around, and especially right here where the needle bearing is on the other side. And this guy comes from right here and makes its way through, and it looks like there's a little slot on it that needs to be aligned with the crank or it won't pass through. It's a little bit annoying. That's all the way through, spins fine. I'll put the gear, I'll torque the gear later. I'll throw it on right now though, so I get the alignment right. So how you align these, one of these guys has like a little cutout in it, and the mark goes towards that, and the nut, I'm not sure where it is right now. It's around somewhere. I'll get it, it's in right now. And just to work our way through here, for the crank gear, there's a flat spot right here, and it's lined with this mark right there. And that is the only way it goes on. It won't let you go put it on any other way. And it goes in, gets pretty flush. And this guy has a C on it, I think that's for the clutch. And I'll just align it the same, but it doesn't seem to care. Close enough. And we got splined crush washer, and I'll just loosely thread this on, and I'll Loctite it later and get it fully assembled, but just to keep it on for now. And now I'm gonna slide in some of the shifting components here, and that'll probably be it for this video. I just want to test it real quick to make sure it shifts, and then that'll be it for this video. So we got a couple parts to this. We got a bolt for the tensioner. We got the tensioner itself and a heavy spring. So spring goes on first, probably in there like that. This guy probably goes behind it like that. Let me throw some lube on it and some Loctite on this bolt. I'll put the bolt through and get it started, and it should go something like that. And kind of index into that bolt, which has got old Loctite on it, so I gotta pass that. And the torque for that guy is 7.2 foot-pounds. The torque for the drum, which I'm gonna put on next, is 22 foot-pounds. All right, that guy's torqued. Now the hardest part here is prying this guy out of the way. I think it'll work right there. And the next hardest part is getting all this stuff lined up while you hold that tensioner out of the way. It'd be nice if you could just install all this stuff and then install the tensioner later, but it's pretty hard. Thing's tight. And it is nice, they give you a peen mark to help you align the drum right there. Pretty sure that's aligned. That's snug. Now I can release that guy. Looks like it's on from what I can tell. It's a little hard to tell, but. And this part is a little sketchy because you're relying on the 3 shift forks to stop you when you're torquing, but honestly, you're probably putting more force on it just when you're downshifting hard flying into a corner, sandy corner, you need to be in first. So it's not too bad. That guy is torqued now. And I'm just gonna verify real quick that it's shifting right. This is something you should do anytime that you have a motor part. So we should be in first right now. I can turn the main shaft and I have lots of leverage over the counter shaft. And the main shaft spins a lot more than the counter shaft. It's probably hard to see in the video, but it does. So that's first. And if we go up from there, which is a left turn, that's neutral, and it's in a little flat spot. That's why neutral can be hard to get into. And I can spin the clutch shaft without spinning the counter. And sometimes you got to spin these to get them to want to shift with some pressure on them. That's second, not in neutral anymore. And they're both spinning. It's more evened out now, but still not quite. Now if I go to third, they're even closer to evenly spinning. And there's fourth. Now they're pretty much even. And fifth, since we put the WR gears in there, is overdrive pretty much, where the counter shaft spins 1 1/4 turns per revolution of the main, and that'll make this thing fly. And you can make it shift easier if you oppose the shafts when they're halfway in between gears. So there we go. I did all my transmission work properly, didn't wreck anything. Back in neutral now, ready to go back in the bike pretty much. Just got to install the rest of this stuff, but I think that is for another video. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. I know it was probably a little bit of a long one with all the inner case stuff, but it worked out and it's all back together pretty much. All the main stuff, just need to put all the accessories on it. So that's for next video. Probably next video we'll do all the clutch stuff and the electrical flywheel. And then the video after that, we'll be doing the head. And then the video after that, I'll be finishing the top end. So should be fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.